When I look at Lucius Malfoy, I always see two different people. I see the Lucius before Lord Voldemort absolutely destroyed him as a person, and the Lucius after. And as great a character as he is, I think that's how he'll always be remembered. The pureblood enthusiast that flaunted his elite status, being reduced to a public embarrassment with his arrest, followed by his continued utter humiliation by Voldemort for his failures. Now, at first, many of us loved it, Lucius getting exactly what he deserved. Then, eventually, you begin to feel sorry for him. Well, I did anyway. But that was the latter part of his story. I want to talk about Lucius Malfoy's rise to prominence and power under Lord Voldemort. I want to know where it all began, and that's exactly what I'm going to talk about today. So if that's the kind of video for you, then stick around, grab a butterbeer, and please make sure you are over the age of 13, as this video is not intended for children. And most importantly, enjoy the video. Okay everyone, let's get started. So here's the thing, the Lucius before is a lot different to the Lucius after. Now I don't just mean the man who was in the little Hangleton graveyard on Voldemort's return. No, I'm talking about the Lucius Malfoy back in the late 70s who served Lord Voldemort as a young man, who wholeheartedly believed in the Dark Lord, and who rose to be his number 2 at such a young age. Now, Lucius was always going to be the perfect fit for the role of a Death Eater. The Malfoys were known for their wealth, their prominence, and their avid support of a pureblood society. Despite not everyone agreeing with keeping wizarding blood pure, any complaints against the Malfoys would always fall on deaf ears, as they were so high up with ministry officials due to their more than generous donations to the community. Now, it's not always the case, but sadly for the majority of children growing up, their personalities are shaped by their surroundings and what they are taught by their parents, and with Lucius, this was certainly the case. His father heavily influenced his beliefs with a thorough education on what the Wizarding Society must become. Completely pure once again. How Muggleborns and Muggles are an atrocity, and how Half-Bloods must be guided back down the path of restoring their family line to that of pure wizarding blood. This is embedded in Lucius' mind on a daily basis, and not only does he process it how his father wanted him to, he fully embraced such a lifestyle and set about trying to make a change himself. The trouble is, he's gotta be careful. As I said, there's a lot of people who are happy that Half-Bloods and Muggleborns are so successfully integrated into society. It's been like that for years. It's become part of everyday life to see Muggleborns mixed with Half-Bloods and even Purebloods. If Lucius were to act against it, he'd have to do it on the right side of the law. Go down the political route. It would take time, to which he probably wouldn't see much success anyway. Now, he's quite a young man at this time to be having such aspirations, but that was always the type of person he was. Lucius was even a leader in Hogwarts. He was a mentor to Severus Snape, for example, something Snape never forgot. They actually became very good friends, and that's something that many people actually aren't aware of. It definitely wasn't highlighted in the movies anyway. Let's continue on. As Tom Riddle returns to Great Britain and began going under the alias of Lord Voldemort, he begins attracting attention to himself. Rumours obviously spread amongst the students at Hogwarts about this powerful wizard who wanted to save the wizarding world by restoring it to a pure blood society. Voldemort's power got so hyped up that many students chose joining Voldemort as their career when leaving Hogwarts. Lucius Malfoy was definitely one of these students, but he was coming into his final year when Voldemort really began recruiting strongly, while Severus Snape, Bellatrix Black and Rodolphus Lestrange, among many others, were still several years behind Lucius in Hogwarts. Voldemort, as we all know, is no fool. He would have already been aware of the wizarding families that mattered and if their members were of use to him. So with Lucius, it could have been a case of he seeks out Voldemort, Voldemort seeks out Lucius. Now, during the lead up to the First Wizarding War, Voldemort was in a somewhat sense of overconfidence. He truly believed he couldn't die, truly believed he was invincible, and there is nothing more dangerous than a man who has erased death from the picture. Voldemort is literally a man without fear. Lucius Malfoy's background, upbringing, magical skill, and of course financial aid basically means he's everything the Dark Lord needs in a top recruit. He also sees potential in Lucius, potential to be great, powerful, which means useful, reliable, and when it comes down to it, reliability is the biggest factor with Voldemort. He expects success every time. Failure is not an option in any way, shape or form. Lucius really excelled under the Dark Lord's tutelage, successfully executing all missions given to him and organising the recruits in terms of who's useful and disposable. It was when the likes of Bellatrix Black, Rodolphus and Rabastin Lestrange, Barty Crouch Jr. and Evan Rossier all came into the ranks that the Death Eaters were really becoming a force to be reckoned with. Lucius eventually became the Dark Lord's second in command, while playing a double agent role in open wizarding society, pretending to do all he could in aiding the Ministry against the possible threat of this Dark Lord. Don't forget, Voldemort hasn't attacked or waged war just yet, so Lucius played both sides until it was time. When it was indeed time to fight, Lucius openly took the side of Lord Voldemort and for the longest time was on the winning side, and that win seemed to become a permanent victory with the Order of the Phoenix basically on its last legs, even Dumbledore acknowledging that fact, until the Dark Lord disembodied himself, sending the Death Eaters into an utter panic. With rumours of his demise spreading and reaching the Ministry, the aurors acted aggressively. Still, despite everything, Lucius' beliefs refused to let him sit back. He attempted to seize control of Voldemort's forces and continue to fight, and some of the Death Eaters and foot soldiers stayed with Malfoy. The rest fled, and a lot were captured and incarcerated in Azkaban. Knowing the credibility he created within the Ministry meant he had a small chance if he could somehow clear his name. Claiming to be under the influence of the Imperius Curse would mean that he could argue his case with the testimony of many officials he had partnered with and donated to, all while claiming he had no memory of anything. It was the perfect escape plan to avoid Azkaban prison. He even believed that Harry Potter could be the true replacement, the one more powerful than the now dead Lord Voldemort. On the Dark Lord's return to power, he never looked at Malfoy in the same light he once had. He knew, and Lucius knew he knew, that Lucius did what he could to avoid imprisonment. And while Voldemort did somewhat respect that his servant used cunning to secure his safety, he did also expect some level of public loyalty, which he never received. That's also part of the reason Voldemort left him in Azkaban. Now he couldn't hide from anyone. Voldemort took Lucius' loyalty and made it known to the public. It was also the reason why he was overly harsh on Lucius for his failures in the Order of the Phoenix book, by failing to retrieve the prophecy. I think seeing just how awful it was to be on the wrong side of his master's wrath erased Lucius' complete and total loyalty to him. Now it was more a case of staying on the good side, staying on the winning side. But you can clearly see the difference in the relationship between the two men before the Dark Lord's first downfall in comparison to his return to power. And with that being said, everyone, that is my take on Lucius Malfoy's rise to power under Lord Voldemort. But what I want you to let me know is, tell me your opinion in the comment section below. Did Lucius deserve a worse fate after everything was said and done? Let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching again. Have a great day, and please remember, be happy. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your support. Everyone, notifications of uploads are more important than ever. So please, if you haven't already, turn those notifications on to make sure you're notified the moment my video goes live. Making videos is what I love to do, it's my dream and my passion. However, it does cost time and money to produce this content, so if you have $1 to spare to support me on Patreon in exchange for some exclusive unseen content, then you can click the Patreon link below or at the end of this video. Please only support me if you can afford it. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at InstaDNJ and on Twitter at PotterFolklore. Check out my other videos appearing on screen, and please make sure, most importantly, to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again everyone, and please have a great day.